Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to talk about the newest Final Destination that came out, Final Destination Bloodlines, and my thoughts on it. Spoiler alert, there are going to be a couple of spoilers in this video. We're just going to start off strong. The things that I enjoyed about the film, there was quite a few. Definitely outweighs the negatives of the film, in my opinion. First off, just want to say, loved seeing Tony Todd, back in this movie. There were a couple Final Destinations that he was not in. So I'm really glad that they were able to bring him back. Had no idea this was going to be his final film, so rest in peace to him. They gave quite an ending scene for his character, pretty much an ending scene for him as well, sadly. But those last final words of his character were strong, and I think they did it really well. Gave a really good ending for not only him as a real person like actor, but as the character as well. So I mostly went into the film blind. So at first I thought, it was going to be set in I thought it was kind of be a period piece based on the opening scene. So I kind of wasn't sure where they were going with that. But then I caught on very quickly. So I thought that opening scene was pretty great. I think the costuming and everything like that, the setup, kills and stuff like that, and the premonition, they were really strong. I really enjoyed all the little details of them showing how that sequence was going to be set up. Just the little it's the little details. I mean, they had to be really creative to think of stuff like that. So the main characters, Stephanie and her brother Charlie, basically all the characters in the film are they're all a family. So it's kind of different than the other final destinations where they were friends or colleagues or something like that. This time it's a family, and they're I like their dynamic, so it's a little easier to get more invested in them and root for them a little bit more. So when they actually die, you're a little more sad than you would be with characters who aren't really related to each other. I really like that. And there was a couple of characters in there that were pretty funny, like Eric, for example. He was like the emo punk looking guy. He had a couple of scenes in there that were pretty funny. That very creative, by the way. I don't know if it showed it in the trailer, and I may be giving a spoiler, but the MRI death scene was pretty funny. I also liked how there were a couple of times that they would tease the audience that a death is going to occur, but then it doesn't, just to kind of play with you a little bit, kind of toy with your feelings, and that character as well, because some of the characters are quite reckless. One in particular being Eric. There were quite a few times where you're thinking, okay, he's going to get killed right now. Like, this is the time that he's going to die, and he doesn't. So it kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit with that, until you actually see his death scene. I really liked how nostalgic this movie made me feel towards the other Final Destination films. There are so many of them. The first one came out in 2000. And so, I mean, this was the sixth installment. I don't know if they're going to make a seventh one. I feel like they shouldn't, though, because Tony Todd is gone. So I feel like it would not feel right if they tried to make another sequel. The film left plenty of Easter eggs from the other Final Destinations, just different little details from different kill scenes of the prior movies. If you've seen all of the films, you're definitely catch those moments. So I thought that was pretty nice. It kind of just helps tie everything together and helps solidify this as an actual Final Destination film. I also really liked the humor in this one. They didn't overdo it by any means. They very much kept up with the classic style Final Destination film, but they also put their own twists in it and kind of brought some new elements in there, just modernized it. So I really appreciated that. but you still felt like you were watching a Final Destination film, which I really liked. Actually liked this film a lot more than I was expecting, so that's nice. Like I said, I kind of went in blind, so I didn't know if I was going to like it. I kind of had a feeling I may have thought it would be more cheesy, but it actually surprised me in that regard. Now we're going to get into what I feel are negatives of the movie. Like the other films, they do use a lot of CGI. I feel like they could have done more practical effects. I'm really a huge fan of practical effects. Some of the sequences, especially like fire and stuff like that, it's just so obvious that it's CGI. I kind of just wish they would use less of that. In most of those films, they use fire a lot. Like it's a really big trope in these Final Destination films. So I feel like they could have toned that down a little bit, but it's not a huge negative. It's just more of an observation. I would have liked to see more practical effects when we're talking about gore. Another thing is I wish they would have expanded on the lore of death and how it started, especially maybe even expanding on how these people are getting premonitions before the whole death thing occurs. For me, I think the whole lore thing can be kind of a slippery slope. Like if you reveal too much, you kind of destroy the mystery of everything, like how death, the whole thing starts and how someone gets a premonition. So I kind of like the mystery within that, but also I kind of just wanted to know a little more about um, why certain characters get these premonitions, and, why death is so adamant on taking the lives of people who, were supposed to die in these premonitions. Like why is she so adamant? And I'll also say, because like I said, I don't have too many negatives with this film. I really enjoyed it. Clearly the theater did as well, maybe a little too many. The comedic timing was really good, but I will say that I feel like the lead character was kind of weak. She wasn't as interesting as some of her other family members, like Eric, for example, or I feel like even her uncle. When her uncle died, I was so sad. I'm like, dude, he's like the fun uncle. I think I did laugh at his death scene though, because it was like a classic. If you see it, you'll know what I mean. Like it didn't take away from the creativity. But yeah, I don't think she was really the strongest lead. Could have been written better. Just a college girl getting nightmares about her grandmother who had this premonition about dad. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they could have expanded more on her character, made her a little bit more interesting, maybe made her a little bit crazy. They kind of lean towards that, having people think that she goes a little bit crazy after she meets her grandmother. So they kind of do lean into that a little bit, but they could have made her just like a little cuckoo. I don't know. But she felt more like a side character than she did the lead. Like, I feel like Eric felt more of a main character than she did a lot of the times. And he is not a main character. He was definitely a side character, but he was a funny side character. I mean, in terms of negatives, that's pretty much all I can think of right now. I feel like the positives certainly outweigh the negatives of this film, and I would definitely recommend to check this one out, especially if you're a Final Destination fan. But yeah, overall, this was a hell of a resurgence for the Final Destination franchise, and I think they did it pretty well. I would probably rate this one an 8 out of 10. I'm not even gonna lie. I may even put it out there that this is the best Final Destination film of the franchise. If you've already seen this movie, please let me know down in the comments what you thought of it and what you would rate it. I'm really curious to see what you guys think about it, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching, and you have a great rest of your weekend.